Have you ever seen a man break? Not in a movie, not in a scripted scene, but in real life? People look at Jason Statham and see a wall of steel. The fighter, the machine, the stunt legend who does the things other actors are too scared to try. He jumps off moving trucks. He dives into freezing water. He takes real punches. He walks through explosions without blinking. Everything about him looks controlled, measured, unshakable. But the truth is something few people ever noticed. Behind the muscles, behind the confidence, behind the unstoppable action hero, was a man carrying more pain than any script ever revealed. A man who faced heartbreak long before fame. A man who failed when everything was on the line. A man who almost died doing what he loved. A man who watched others fall beside him. A man who smiled for cameras, while fighting battles no one else could see. Hollywood called him unbreakable, but life broke him again and again. Some say tragedy shapes a person, but Jason Statham's story isn't just shaped by tragedy, it is held together by it. Behind the sharp stare, behind the clenched jaw, behind the fighter everyone idolizes, is a man who was forced to rebuild himself more times than he can count. And at 58, when most people slowed down, Jason finally allowed the truth to surface. A truth more heartbreaking than any role he ever played. This is the part of his story the world never saw. The part hidden behind the action hero mask. The part that reveals who Jason really is, and what it cost him to survive. Before the fame, before the stunts, before Hollywood ever learned his name, there was a boy growing up in a world that didn't offer much. Jason Statham was born on the 26th of July 1967 in Shirebrook, Derbyshire, a place where money was tight, opportunities were rare, and dreams felt like luxuries. His mother, Eileen, danced for crowds. His father, Barry, took whatever work he could find. Roofing, painting, selling, anything to keep the lights on. They weren't poor in spirit, but they struggled. Jason saw that struggle every day. He didn't grow up around fame. He didn't grow up around privilege. He grew up around survival. From the beginning, he understood one thing. No one was coming to save him. If he wanted something, he had to earn it. If he had a dream, he had to chase it alone. And that mindset, that hard, unforgiving mindset, became the foundation of everything he would later become. While other kids played, Jason searched for something to belong to, something to fight for, something to escape into. He tried football. He tried martial arts. He tried anything that made him feel alive. But nothing stuck, until the day he discovered diving. Standing on that board for the first time, he felt something he never felt before. Focus, purpose, direction. It became his world, his escape, his identity. Every morning, he woke up early. Every night, he trained until his body ached. No excuses, no complaints, just discipline. The kind most adults don't even have. By the time he was a teenager, Jason wasn't just talented. He was obsessed. While his friends stayed out late, Jason practiced entries, perfected spins, and pushed himself past exhaustion. He wasn't trying to be famous. He wasn't trying to be admired. He just wanted to prove something, that a kid with nothing could become something. But what he didn't know was this. The dream he was building, brick by brick, was about to break in front of him, and that break would define the rest of his life. Jason didn't choose diving. Diving chose him. From age 12 onward, this wasn't a hobby. It became the center of his life. The pool was his world. The board was his stage. The sound of water was the only applause he needed. Every morning, while the sun was still asleep, Jason trained. Cold air, colder water, hundreds of repetitions. Pain that most kids would quit over. He never complained. He never stopped. He believed that if he pushed hard enough, the world would finally open its doors. For more than 10 years, he trained with one goal, the 1992 Olympics, representing Britain, standing on the world stage, proving he mattered. He wasn't gifted things. He earned everything with sweat, patience, and a level of discipline most grown men never achieve. And then, The moment arrived. The team selection. The day his life was supposed to change. Jason missed the Olympics. By one position. One. A single ranking. A single number. A single moment that erased a decade of sacrifice. People expected him to cry, or scream, or break down. He didn't. He just stood on the pool deck, silent, motionless, staring into the water that once felt like home. He wasn't angry. He wasn't bitter. He was empty. Because when you dedicate your entire childhood to one dream, and it slips through your fingers, there's no noise left inside you. That silence taught Jason something he would carry forever. Failure hurts the most when you did everything right. Most athletes quit after a loss like that. Jason didn't. He didn't know how to quit, but he also didn't know where to go. The dream that guided him for 10 years vanished in one afternoon. And when that dream collapsed, Jason was forced into something he never expected. The darkest chapter of his young life. Starting over with absolutely nothing. When Jason's Olympic dream collapsed, so did the only path he had ever prepared for. No backup plan, no roadmap, no safety net. Just a 5-year-old kid with a broken dream and a lifetime of work ethic, but nowhere to use it. So he did what people from working-class towns always do. He survived. Jason began hustling on the streets of London, not because he wanted to, but because he had no choice. He sold cheap perfume, fake watches, knockoff jewelry, shouting to strangers who didn't look at him twice. Cold mornings, rainy nights, empty pockets, empty fridge. People walked past him like he wasn't even there, like he didn't exist. But Jason understood something most people never learn. Rock bottom isn't a place. It's a test. And he refused to fail it. During the day, he hustled. At night, he rebuilt himself. Push-ups until his arms shook. Shadowboxing in tiny rented rooms. Exhaustion instead of excuses. He wasn't training for fame. He wasn't training for Hollywood. He didn't even know that future existed. He was training because quitting was the only thing he didn't know how to do. Every morning, he stepped back out onto the streets. Hungry, frozen, broke, but unbroken. People saw a hustler. What they didn't see was a fighter sharpening himself without even realizing it. But fate is strange. It watches you when you're grinding in silence. It waits for its moment. And for Jason, that moment came suddenly, in a way he never expected, from a person he didn't know, on a day that looked like every other day. One meeting, one chance, one decision. The kind of moment that doesn't just change your life, it rewrites it. And for Jason Statham, that meeting was about to open the door. He had been preparing for his entire life, without even knowing it. Jason didn't know it yet, but all those cold nights, all those street hustles, all those silent battles, were preparing him for one moment. A moment that arrived without warning. During a small side job, a low-paying modeling gig he took just to cover food, a man walked in. British filmmaker Guy Ritchie. He watched Jason for a few seconds. Not the clothes, not the pose, not the manufactured smile. He watched how Jason moved, how he carried himself, how he talked, how he didn't try to impress anyone. There was something raw in him, something real, and impossible to fake. Guy Ritchie didn't see a model. He didn't see a hustler. He didn't see a failed athlete. He saw a character. Rough edges, sharp eyes, a man who had lived enough life to bring truth to the screen. Guy took a chance, a wild one. He cast Jason in lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels. No big audition, no long process, just instinct. Jason stepped onto a film set for the first time in his life, and everything clicked. He wasn't acting, he was just being himself. Authentic, unpolished, undeniably real. Audiences loved it. Then came Snatch. Then The Transporter. Then the momentum no one could stop. Each film took him higher. Each stunt made him bolder. Each success made him stronger. But as Jason climbed, he didn't realize something. Every rise comes with a shadow. And the higher he went, the darker that shadow became. Because fame doesn't just give you opportunities, it reveals everything you tried to hide. And Jason was about to learn that even success has a price. A price paid in private. A price paid in silence. A price that hurts more than any stunt ever could. Fame came fast. Success came loud. But loneliness came first. Behind the cameras, behind the applause, behind the billion-dollar franchises, Jason Statham's personal life was falling apart. People saw the action hero. They didn't see the man going home to an empty room. In the late 1990 seconds, before Hollywood claimed him, Jason met Kelly Brook. She was confident. She was rising. She believed in him before the world did. From 1997 to 2004, she stood beside him as he struggled, auditioned, waited, hustled, and fought his way into the industry. But when his fame exploded, so did the distance between them. Jason was flying between continents. London 1 week, Los Angeles the next, movie to movie, set to set, months disappearing without warning. Kelly eventually walked away. Jason didn't chase her. He didn't fight. He didn't argue. He just said softly, "The pain of being replaced while still loyal is a heartbreak you never forget." That sentence stayed with him. It changed how he loved. It changed how he trusted. It changed how he carried himself in every relationship afterward. But heartbreak wasn't done with him yet. In 2005, he met Sophie Monk. She was warm, funny, a spark he wasn't expecting. For a moment, she brought light back into his life. Real laughter, real peace. But the same pattern repeated. Shoots, distance, airports, silence, time zones killing what the heart was trying to build. They cared. They tried. Life didn't let them stay. Then came Alex Zosman. She wasn't an actress. She wasn't chasing fame. She just saw him for who he was. For the first time in years, Jason felt grounded, safe, human. For nearly 3 years, from 2006 to 2009, he believed he finally found someone he could build with. But fame is demanding. Schedules are brutal. Sets don't wait for emotions. And once again, distance took him where his heart didn't want to go. When that relationship collapsed, Jason didn't yell. He didn't blame. He didn't shut down. He just said one quiet truth. Everyone wants the actor. No one sees the man. People thought fame made him stronger. It didn't. It made him lonelier. Some nights, after interviews and red carpets, he'd sit alone in hotel rooms, staring at city lights. That meant nothing without someone to share them with. Behind every stunt, behind every fight scene, behind every controlled expression, was a man carrying heartbreaks he never talked about. And those heartbreaks didn't break him all at once. They chipped away slowly, until one day, life hit him with a tragedy he could never forget. And this time, it wasn't emotional, it was deadly. Success made Jason famous, but one moment made him silent. The Expendables 2. A routine stunt. A controlled setup. Something he had done 100 times before. Then everything went wrong. An explosion. A misfire. A moment of chaos. And a 26-year-old stuntman named Kun Liu lost his life. Jason watched it happen. Not in slow motion. Not like an action scene. Not like a movie. In real time. In real shock. In real horror. He didn't scream. He didn't panic. He froze. Because this wasn't a stunt gone wrong. This wasn't a minor accident. This was death. Right in front of him. During a job people think is exciting. Later, when someone asked what happened, Jason said quietly, "You think you're invincible until someone dies doing what you love." That sentence stayed with him. It replayed in his mind every time he stepped on set. Every time he rehearsed a scene, every time he put his life in danger. The world saw him as fearless. But after that day, Jason carried something inside him he could never talk about. Guilt, shock, fear, grief. He didn't attend interviews. He didn't make statements. He didn't explain. He just shut down. On every movie since then, Before the first stunt, Jason pauses, just for a second. A silent tribute, a memory of a life lost. A moment only he understands. People think his stern expression is toughness. It's not. It's memory. It's pain. It's the reminder that action scenes aren't games. He never mentioned Kunlu again. Not out of disrespect, out of heartbreak. Because some tragedies don't make headlines. They make scars. And Jason was about to face an even darker moment. One that didn't just haunt him, it nearly killed him. 2 years after the stuntman's death, Jason faced the kind of moment that changes a person permanently. The Expendables 3. A simple rehearsal. A routine stunt. Nothing extreme. Nothing unusual. Drive a truck. Hit the brakes. Stop on the mark. That was it. Jason had done more dangerous things in his sleep. But danger doesn't warn you. It doesn't announce itself. It just arrives. The second Jason pressed the brakes, nothing happened. The pedal dropped to the floor. Dead. Lifeless. Useless. The truck didn't slow. It sped up, straight toward the edge of the pier. Jason realized it instantly. He didn't scream. He didn't panic. He just whispered one sentence to himself. Not like this. The truck broke through the barrier and went straight into the Black Sea. The impact was violent. Metal, water, silence, then darkness. The cabin flooded fast. Too fast. The pressure forced the door shut. The seatbelt jammed. Cold water wrapped around him like ice. He tried to push the door. It didn't move. He tried again. Nothing. For the first time in years, Jason felt fear. Real fear. The kind actors can't fake. Water rose to his chest, then his neck, then his mouth. He thought about Rosie. He thought about home. He thought about everything left unsaid. And then instinct, the same instinct that carried him through his entire life, took over. He slammed his shoulder into the door. Once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, until something cracked. His arm went numb. His lungs were burning. His legs were shaking. But the door finally gave way. Jason kicked himself free, fought upward, and broke through the surface. Gasping, shaking, alive. Sylvester Stallone ran toward him, eyes wide, voice trembling. Later, Stallone said, if anyone else was behind that wheel, they'd be dead. But what Stallone didn't say was this. Jason didn't walk out of that water the same man. That night, alone in his room, he whispered, it should have been over. And from that day forward, something inside him changed. It became quieter, more serious, more distant. The jokes faded, the laughs faded, the old Jason faded. Because once you face death that closely, you don't come back untouched. You come back with shadows. And Jason's shadows were only getting darker. After the Black Sea incident, Jason didn't just walk away from death. He carried it with him. Something inside him shifted. Something settled. Something silent. Something heavy. The man who once joked between takes now sat alone, lost in thought. The man who once pushed through any stunt now felt hesitation he never had before. The man who once looked invincible now woke up feeling breakable. Years of punishing his body finally started speaking back. His joints ached every morning. His back burned during shoots. His knees stiffened after long days. Sometimes even walking hurt. He used to fight villains. Now he fought his own body. He joked about it once. I used to beat bad guys. Now I fight cartilage. People laughed. But behind the joke was a truth only he knew. He wasn't scared of aging. He was scared of slowing down. Because slowing down meant stopping. And stopping meant thinking. And thinking meant remembering. The stuntman's death. The near drowning. The heartbreaks. The failures. The loneliness. The ghosts. He didn't want those thoughts. He didn't want that silence. He didn't want the pain that came rushing in when the adrenaline faded. So he trained harder. Not for movies. Not for roles. To stay ahead of the darkness. Boxing. Swimming. Yoga. Conditioning. Anything to keep his mind busy. and his body moving. But even then, some nights caught up to him. Nights where he would sit alone, hands on his knees, breathing through pain, wondering how much of himself he had sacrificed for a career built on danger. Nights where the weight of everything he survived felt heavier than any stunt rig. Nights where the quiet was louder than any explosion he ever walked through. People think Jason Statham's strength comes from the characters he plays. They're wrong. His strength comes from enduring pain he never shows, never mentions, never lets the world see. But even in that darkness, something unexpected happened. Something he never prepared for. Something that finally gave him a reason to breathe again, love, and the family he didn't know he needed. Then, when Jason least expected it, life softened. He met Rosie Huntington Whiteley. Not during chaos, not during a stunt, not during a moment of danger, during calm. And for a man who spent his entire life fighting, calm felt unfamiliar. Strange, but right. Rosie wasn't impressed by fame. She didn't chase the spotlight. She didn't fall in love with Jason the actor. She fell for Jason the man, the quiet one, the careful one, the wounded one. And with her, Jason finally felt something he hadn't felt in years. Home. Their conversations were simple. Their days were peaceful. Their moments were real. And then came their children, Jack and Isabella. Jason once said, quietly, almost whispering, "They're the only battles I never want to win." For a man who survived heartbreak, failure, danger, death, and silence, becoming a father didn't make him stronger. It made him softer. He stopped seeing life as a fight. He started seeing it as something to protect, something to value, something to stay alive for. But even with peace, wounds don't disappear. Some nights, Jason stands by the window, watching Rosie and the kids sleep. The room silent, his mind full. He thinks about the stuntman he lost, the truck sinking beneath him, the heartbreaks that changed him, the dreams that failed, the friends who drifted away, the pain he never speaks about. Not regrets, ghosts. And on those nights, he says something only he can hear. You'll make it right next time. Because even legends carry guilt. Even warriors carry scars. Even the strongest man in the room can feel fragile in the dark. Today, at Oteo Headsreds, Jason Statham stands as one of Hollywood's greatest action stars. A global icon, a fan favorite, a symbol of strength. But the real story isn't the one on screen. It's the one behind it. A boy who lost his dream. A young man who hustled to survive. An actor who rose from nothing. A partner who faced heartbreak. A stuntman who witnessed tragedy. A survivor who escaped death. A father who found peace. A man who never stopped fighting. Not others, but himself. So when you watch him on screen, punching villains, jumping off trucks, running through fire, remember this: the toughest man in Hollywood is also the one who had the most to overcome. And that's why his real story is more powerful than anything he's ever filmed.